Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Thank you for giving Group 30 an opportunity to make a video presentation regarding our subject, Islamic Estate, WAQF Planning and Retirement, to our beloved lecturer, Dr. Ahmad Khilmy bin Abdul Rahim. My friend and I are going to present to you about our group project, Unclaimed Muslim Asset in Malaysia, focus on reasons and its relationship with Islamic estate planning. My group members consist of 5 people, and they are including me, ANIQ bin TAELIP, 263963, and my friend are FAIZI FARIZAL, Muhammad FARHAN, DANIAL FARHAN, and AKHTAR YUSUF. Now, before we go to the main topic, I would like to give briefly our presentation. We decided to make our presentation into 5 sections, which are the concept Islamic estate planning, Quranic and Hadith about estate planning, advantages of estate planning, data and factor of unclaimed asset and property, suggestion to reduce unclaimed asset and improve relation. Now, we're moving on to the concept Islamic estate planning. Why estate planning is obligatory? To begin with, estate planning is important because we are concerned about how one should distribute his wealth after he or her death. A good plan, asset redistribution is important to take care of family unity and benefit. There are several methods can be applied to distribute one's wealth after he or she passed away. The first is FARHAN, Muslim inheritance law. Second is wasiat, wills. Third is hibah, a gift. And the lastly is WAQF, endowment. So, what is the estate planning? Estate planning is a definite plan for the administration and disposition of one property during one's lifetime and at one's death. A discipline that deals specifically with estate distribution. Highly useful for a person to plan the distribution of wealth after his death, in addition to rule of FARHAN. Next, the main focus of concept in Islamic estate planning consists of 5 types. The first one is FARHAN. FARHAN is the section of the Sharia that deals with the determination of the rights and has portion of a deceased inheritance based on the previous of the Sharia law. It is used for after death and specifically on the next estate. Second one is wasiat, an authorizing possession of one wealth or possession to someone else after one death by way of charity, which called tabarruk. It cannot be used for legal heirs that are distributed for FARHAN share. The maximum amount is 1/3 of the net estate. And the third is hibah. Hibah can be defined as a gift or donation. Technically, transfer of a determined property, mal, without any material consideration. This is normally done during the lifetime of the donor, and beneficiary can be anyone. And the lastly is WAQF, an Islamic endowment of property to be held in trust and used for a charitable or religious purpose. This is often a sort of investment for the hereafter, and it can be done during lifetime or after death. For the next section, my partner will learn about Al-Quran and Al-Hadith. That's all for me, and I will pass to my partner. Thank you.
So, in ensure that we have prepared the wealth, we must know estate planning in terms of distribution and anything that related towards the wealth should be made. Therefore, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has explained the preparation made by the Nabi Yusuf in planning the wealth well for any future incident or disaster. If we look, Nabi Yusuf have planned for the 7 years in the future. If there are incident or anything happen, he have the saving. So if we look into the 48, after that there are disaster come. So Nabi Yusuf have used the plan that have been planned to ensure that they have food to eat in the upcoming 7 years. So one of the instruments in the preparation of estate planning is FARHAN. FARHAN is a distribution of wealth according to Sharia principle and fairness, since the fragmentation of the wealth is mentioned in the Quran. So in the FARHAN, the legal heirs will get their parts of the estate that left by the deceased person. So the value of estate that will get by the legal heirs are stated in the Surah An-Nisa, sentences 11 to 12. Based on this surah, it shows that the deceased children will get, the son will get 2 parts, 2/1, which is the share of male is like that 2 females. More than 2 daughters, they shall 2/3 of the inheritance. And if there is only 1 daughter, then she shall have half the inheritance. If the deceased have any offspring, each of his parents shall have a sixth of the inheritance. And if the deceased has no child and his parents alone inherit him, then 1/3 shall go to his mother. And if the deceased has brother and sisters, then 1/6 shall go to his mother. All these shares are to be given after payment of the bequest he might have made or any debts outstanding against him. So the deceased estate will be distributed after the debts outstanding against him have been made. And to you belongs half of whatever has been left behind by your wife if they die childless. But if they have any children, then you belongs 1/4 of what they have left behind. This is commandment from Allah. Allah is all-knowing, all forbearing. So next we will go to hadith on estate planning, which has been narrated by Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. The Prophet came visiting me while I was sick in Makkah. He said, it's like to die in the land whence he had already migrated. The Prophet said, may Allah bestow his mercy on Ibn Afra, Sa'ad bin Qawla. I said, oh Allah, Apostle, may I will all my property in charity? He said, no. I said, then I will half of it? He said, no. I said, 1/3? He said, yes. 1/3, yeah, even 1/3 is too much. It's better for you to leave your inheritors wealthy than to live. Then poor begging others, and whatever you spend for Allah's sake will be considered as a charitable deed, even the handful of food you put in your wife's mouth. Allah may lengthen your age so that some people may benefit by you and some other be harmed by you. At the time, Sa'ad had only 1 daughter. So based on this hadith, we know that Allah, that our Prophet have encouraged us to ensure that our estate or property are given to our heirs. If we want to will the property to the charity, is only 1/3, 1/3, which is that is too much. That said by our Prophet Nabi Muhammad SAW. So only that's from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad FARHAN bin HAZIR. The trick number 255-288. So for this presentation, I will explaining and clarifying about the advantages of estate planning. So These are the several key advantages of estate planning, which is first point, estate planning helps to provide for the family of the deceased. Second, estate planning also avoid further estate and it's losing economic value. Apart from that, estate planning also provide rewards and peace in the hereafter for the deceased. Next, estate planning also promote consensus among heirs and beneficiaries. And last list, estate planning appoint capable executors to manage the estate. So for the first point, estate planning helps to provide for the family of the deceased by managing the wealth or the estate of the deceased through several legal process to divide the wealth among the families. So in this process, estate planning will also take into consideration that the family is well provided and financially aid upon the deceased death. Secondly, estate planning also promote consensus among the heirs as generally estate planning only following what the deceased wish upon his death according to the rules of Sharia and of course the legal constitution of Malaysia. So with this written document and with proof, the proof of the will, but the beneficiaries can really argue about the will. Next, estate planning also avoid the estate or the wealth of the deceased losing its economic value. As estate planning manage the process efficiently, it will avoid the prolonged settlement and benefit the beneficiaries and heirs directly. My fourth point is estate planning will also appoint capable executors to manage the estate. So the executors must be someone trustworthy to safeguarding the deceased wealth and financially competent. And of course, the most important is legally registered as estate planner. And lastly, as Muslim, the most important thing for us is the hereafter. So through estate planning, the deceased will receive rewards and be at peace as his or her wealth is managed by expert accordingly to the Sharia rules. Apart from that, upon the deceased wish, his estate can also be given to charity if he wishes so. So by doing so, he may gain rewards in the hereafter. So that's among the key advantages of estate planning. And of course, it's especially important for us Muslims, as it is really important in and severely mentioned in Quran and Hadith, which will be presented by my friends. So thank you for your attention. That's all from me.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARHAN bin AZMI. My metric number is 255211. So today I will present about the data on unclaimed property. So based on the slide, we can see that the data for the unclaimed property from the year 2015 until 2019. For 2015, we can see that the amount of unclaimed property is about 66 billion ringgit Malaysia. Meanwhile, in 2016, it decreased to 60 billion. However, in 2017, there is no data that we can gain from any resources. But in 2018, the data is keep increasing, about 67 billion. And for the last year, 2019, we can see the major of the increasing of the data on unclaimed property, about 70 billion. Okay, the data on unclaimed property. The data that we gain is based on the newspaper report. However, the newspaper report claim that they get all the data provided by the Department of Director General of Land and Mines, which is JKPTG. It is difficult to find the exact record of the unclaimed property because the website on JKPTG doesn't provide any such record, or any resources don't have any record. So the only sources that we get is only based on newspaper. Okay, next we go to factor on unclaimed asset. So basically we have 6 factor on unclaimed asset, which is first, lack of public awareness; second, social problem; third, not declare and notifying the heirs; fourth, ignorance among the members of the beneficiary; fifth, management and law issue; and lastly, lack of cooperation. Okay, we go to the first factor, which is lack of public awareness. Okay, awareness of the importance of making early planning on the distribution of property before that is so important, so that the heirs know about all the property that we have before we die. Second is implementation on the FARIZAL law is not as easy as said, due to the process of solving the inheritance will usually take time. Usually, to solve the FARIZAL law will take about 2 to 3 years, based on the cooperation that all the beneficiary give and the bureaucracy that they have to face. And the authority to distribute this property, such as BPP, is often face hardship and difficulties in distributing it to the heirs, based on the factor that I said before, such as long don't know where the heirs, where the dead person have a property or not, how many property they have, and so others. Next is social problem. Okay, the social problem among our society is happen because the custom of the rural society that always delay the inheritance application process, because most of our society think that they have a stigma in their self that why want to pursue the property when the grave is still red. So based on this stigma, people usually will take time. 1 year after that, then they will start to solve the inheritance. Most of Muslim communities argue and think that estate needs to be divided by the law of Fara'id only. So they most of our society didn't know about the only know about the Fara'id law. They don't know about the will and others law that regarding to the estate. Next is not declare and notifying the heirs. Okay, the heirs are sometimes not aware of the existence of the estate left because the dead person not declare their property. This is because the owners of the property do not care about their land ownership documentation. When there is some lack of ownership documentation, it will be difficulty in determining the border of the land in the event of the overlapping border, and difficult for beneficiary to prove the existence of the land because there is no documentation, loss of documentation, don't know where the documentation put. Okay, next is lack of cooperation. There is misunderstanding and disagreement between the beneficiary. When this happen, there will be a delay on the solve the property. Sometimes greedy nature of members of the beneficiary also being the factor. They wish to swap all the property for themselves only. They do not want to share. So when this happen, it will create misunderstanding and disagreement between them. Sometimes they are purposely not attend during a trial for the distribution of the estate because they not because they dissatisfying of themselves about the divide of the property. So when they are not attend the trial, so there will be a delay. And lastly is a long disappearing beneficiary member. Sometimes when we keep delaying, the members of beneficiary become add more, and we don't know who is the long disappearing beneficiary member. So it becomes hard to divide when the member of beneficiary is getting more. Okay, next, ignorance of the beneficiary. So sometimes the beneficiary assumes that the division management is complicated and involve high costs. This is because we need to go to court. So the stigma of our society is when you go to court, you need a lawyer. You need to hire a lawyer, which is cost a higher amount. So when this happen, the rich beneficiary who afford to appoint lawyers on their behalf to manage this while they keep they will afford to appoint a lawyer so they can fight for their right. Meanwhile, for the modest and can afford beneficiary in the appointment of a lawyer will remain silent and not take any action. Last, last is management and law issue. Estate management administration should be seen to consistent with the requirements of Islam for the benefit of the community and the nation. Sometimes the management and law issues also being the sum of the factors for the delaying on distribution the estate. So we can see that the management of estate now becoming to improve their system, which is they divide their estate into three: small inheritance, large inheritance, and simple inheritance, where the distribution are based on property value left by the deceased and the loss. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is AKHTAR YUSUF bin KAMARUL ZAMAN, matric ID number 257103. Okay, for my part, I will presenting about suggestion to reduce unclaimed assets and improve relations with Islamic estate planning. Okay, for my part, I found there are four ways or four methods to reduce the unclaimed assets among Muslim. Okay, along improve the knowledge of citizen into Islamic estate planning. Okay, now we look at the second slide. Okay, the first, basically there are four main points. First is increase the number of Sharia courts. Secondly, separate several departments under its own roof. Okay. Third, increase the level of awareness. And the last one was add new syllabus in school curriculum. Okay. Now we look at the first main point, which is increase the number of Sharia courts. As we know, in Malaysia there are we are lack of Sharia courts compared to civil court, compared to other courts. Means there is possibly where the process of claiming the process of unclaimed assets a little bit slow since there are lack of staff, something like that. Okay. So by increase the courts ataupun or this department, okay. Firstly we look at it may create an opportunities for young generations. What is mean by that? Means we are create a vacancy for especially like young graduates. Okay. So by this we are create more opportunities to graduates lah. Okay. So the second one was efficiency of Islamic system becoming more effective. Why I said that? Because where there is more staff, and of course the time of basically the time of processing are even quicker than before, because there was each person who are handled in that particular department and the particular section, so all going well. Okay. So the second main point was separate several departments under its own roof. Okay. By this, what is mean by that? Okay. As we know, a long time ago, or maybe previous year, okay, Islamic Center, okay, under Islamic Center there was a lot of departments, okay, about munakahat and so on, okay, along with this claim set. So by separating department under its own roof, okay, they will increase the efficiency in certain department or in that department. Okay, now we'll at the first sub point, which is the process is claimed as is quicker than before. Okay, this same as previous main point punya elaborations. Okay, the second one was reduce misunderstanding between institution and society. Okay, what is mean by that? Okay, basically, okay, when there is a lot of departments, okay, under one roof, okay, let me take one example. Okay, firstly, Mr. Ali, if he asked the wrong person, okay, basically the staff was other department, not under claim asset department. So basically there will be is this of little bit misunderstanding. Okay, so due to that issues, okay, society will misunderstanding about Islamic center, which there has no what's the name? Not professional in handling this issue, or handling this system, or this organization. Okay. The third one is by increase the main point is the increase the level of awareness. Okay, this is the big hot issues among citizens of Malaysia, basically among Muslims lah. Okay. Okay, first we look at the first point is the role of head family in shaping its generation. Okay, to increase the awareness, okay, first basically we have to start from our family. Okay, so who is the head of family? Of course, a father. Okay, as we know, father is head of family, so the father should know, or should complete with general knowledge in Islamic, in financing and so on. Okay, basically, if a father doesn't know, okay, about Islamic estate planning, okay, so how can he teach her son, her daughter, and her wife? Okay, so basically it start from it start from the father. Okay, basically teach his son or her daughter since they were kids, okay, or they were young. Okay, the second point was the role of mosque and other Islamic center in educating society. Okay, this one, as I told before, okay, the society or citizen are lack of in Islamic estate planning general knowledge. Okay, so and nowadays, okay, based on our surveys, short surveys, okay, we look at mosque and other Islamic center are more focusing about fiqh, munakah, and so on. So by increasing, or by should at the same time they should whatever, or the next session they should deliver something knowledge about Islamic estate planning. Okay, by so the society could learn a new knowledge. Okay, so this is not a new knowledge, this is the basic knowledge of Islamic. Okay. Okay, the last main point was add new syllabus in school curriculum. Okay, as I was a student since a primary school in local or in Malaysia, we know there is no syllabus about estate planning in school. Am I right? Okay. Okay. So we look at the first sub main point was develop new syllabus according its level in the education center. Okay, for example, I took primary school. Okay, and then so Ministry of Education basically is my suggestion, and based on the author of article, okay, they should create syllabus according its level. Means for year 3 in primary school, okay, there's a level syllabus for year 3. Okay, for year 6 there is a level on for year 6, and then the same goes to on secondary school. Okay, so when their age are becoming aging, okay, so the levels are becoming hard. Okay, okay. The second part was implement new syllabus in primary school and secondary school. Okay, just as I said before. Okay, so we now just create the syllabus what we should implement. Okay, so basically the students, the teenagers, the child, they should aware of how important is it the Islamic estate planning toward themselves, towards society, towards Islamic economy, towards the whole entire economy in Malaysia. Okay, okay. Because nowadays, as we know, there was 64.3 I think 64 or 63 billions of unclaimed assets in Malaysia. Okay, this is quite quite a shame that we as a Muslim we should know from the basic, at least the basic from A to Z of the basic. Okay. Okay, that's all from my presentation. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.